Hello, Wonderhussy here, trying to find a place where I can get away from this blasted heat. Oh my God, there's a heat wave going all over the West Coast this summer. I'm shooting this video on July 12th, which happens to be a holiday I made up called National Magic Bikini Day. That's right, come to find out, last Friday, July 5th, was National Bikini Day. I didn't even realize that that was a holiday, but apparently July 5th is the day the bikini was invented. So every year on July 5th, people celebrate National Bikini Day. Well, if you know anything about me, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know I'm not exactly crazy about bikinis. In fact, the only bikini I like to wear is my magic bikini. And so I started thinking about my magic bikini, and I realized that I invented it on July 12th, 2021. So today is the 3rd anniversary of me inventing my magic bikini, which, if you don't know what that is, well, you must be new around here. And don't worry, I'll fill you in a little bit. But anyway, to celebrate my own self-proclaimed National Magic Bikini Day holiday, well, I'm trying to find someplace cool to go so that I can wear my magic bikini. And it's proving to be a real challenge because it's so friggin' hot everywhere. But supposedly at the end of this long, bumpy dirt road way up in the Sierra Nevada foothills, there's supposed to be a real nice swimming hole. The only downside is, well, actually, I guess there's a few downsides. First of all, you can see from the sign here, it's a fee area. I'm gonna have to pay to hang out here. And again, if you know me, you know there's 3 things I hate: bikinis, paying to soak in a hot spring, and paying to camp. But this place is supposed to be so cool that I guess it's worth paying the $10. Anyway, one of the other downsides is you have to drive all the way down this long, narrow, bumpy gravel road to get to it, at the end of which is a supposedly very limited number of parking spots. So it's already 3 o'clock and it's Friday, so fingers crossed I actually find somewhere to park and I can pay the $10 and go enjoy this swimming hole. But that's not even the worst of the drawbacks. No, the main drawback about going to this swimming hole is, apparently at the very end of it, I have to drive across a real old bridge. Okay, I'm talking like 100-year-old bridge. I think it was built in 1930. It looks pretty sketchy from the pictures I saw online. I think they're planning to build a new bridge because this one isn't up to the weight of modern vehicles. Yikes, I don't know, man. I think it said there's something like a 3-ton weight limit on this rickety old bridge, and I don't actually know how much my Toyota weighs. I think it's about 6,000 pounds dry weight, and then I got so much gear loaded up in here that it's probably like 7,000 pounds. So I don't even know what 3 tons is, but I think I should be well under that limit. Fingers crossed, I make it down this road, make it across the bridge, find a place to park, and can get some relief from the heat in this swimming hole. Oh God, look at that, it's getting even hotter, 108. I thought it was supposed to be cooler in the mountains. Oh my God, look. I can actually see the bridge from the road, and it does look pretty sketchy. I can't believe that that bridge is meant to hold a modern vehicle. I mean, back in 1930, I guess maybe vehicles weren't as heavy, so it wasn't an issue, but yikes. What do you guys think? Should I risk it? Can my 5,000, 6,000 pound 4Runner, which is probably like 7,000 with all my gear, make it across this rickety wooden bridge, which by the way is spanning this beautiful looking river canyon, which really does look like an awesome place for a skinny dip. Except I do see people down there, and I do hear the voices of kids, so... Well, it's a good thing I brought my magic bikini. Okay, well, I guess there's only one way to find out if my car can make it across this bridge, and that is to drive across it. Wish me luck, yikes. Okay, wow. The good news is I managed to get across the bridge. The bad news is my car said it was 111 degrees up here. Or I guess down here, I guess maybe why it got hotter is we went down into a ravine. You know what I mean? This river is running through a sort of gorge, which is what this bridge is spanning. And golly, look at these braided steel cables holding this thing in place. I sure hope they replace those at some point within the last 100 years. I mean, apparently it's not that sketchy because there's plenty of cars up here and there's some pretty big ones. You know, there's like an Explorer there, and I saw a couple other 4Runners, so I'm probably not the heaviest one to make this crossing. And it looks like there's plenty of other people just as stupid as me. Boy, this must be some swimming hole, which, oh my God, I can't wait to go down and get in the water. But before I do that, I feel like I should walk across the bridge, right? I mean, everyone else is doing it. Might as well see what all the fuss is about. Okay, this is what we just drove over, which I'm still kind of in disbelief about. Imagine if this bridge had broken, well, we'd be down there right now in that nice, cool, crystal clear river. Although I'm gonna go ahead and guess that we wouldn't be able to enjoy it much because we'd probably be dead. Fortunately though, we didn't die, we're alive and well, and we're walking right across this Yankee Jim bridge. Okay, that's what this is called, the Yankee Jim Bridge. I guess it was named after some old timer back in the 1850s who came out here claiming to be a miner. Okay, we're in the Sierra Nevada foothills, kind of not that far from Sacramento, so this is like right where they found gold for the first time back in 1849. So I guess this guy Yankee Jim came out here claiming to be a miner, but I don't think he really was. I think he was actually a horse thief. Oh wow, look here on the other side of the bridge. There's a cave, or like part of an old mine at it. It doesn't go back too far, but I'm still gonna climb in because it might be at least a few degrees cooler in here. Oh my God, it totally is. I would guess at least 10 degrees cooler in here, even in this little shallow cave. Okay, well, that's good because I think my phone was about to overheat standing on that bridge, but anyway, back to Yankee Jim. Who knows? Yankee Jim might have dug this adit that we're standing in right now. Well, no, he probably didn't because, like I was saying, he wasn't actually a miner. He was a horse thief pretending to be a miner, at least according to what I read online. I guess he was hiding out up here, camped out on top of some super rich gold deposit, and I'm not sure if he knew he was on top of the deposit or not, but he had a corral set up with all his stolen horses, and he was just sort of hiding out here in the hills, minding his own business, until I guess there was some kind of storm, I think, and it washed away the hillside that he was camped on, and, well, it revealed this huge gold deposit. I think it was called the Jenny Lind mine, like Jenny Lind, the Swedish opera singer, I think. Anyway, once people cottoned onto the fact that Yankee Jim was sitting on this huge gold deposit, well, they figured out what he was up to, that he wasn't actually a miner, and that he was a horse thief, and I guess they ran him out of town, and he ended up, I think he fled to Southern California, where he ended up being captured and executed by some sheriff down there. Okay, anyway, as relatively nice and cool as it is in this adit. There's really not much more to see in here, and so I feel like we're gonna have to go back outside into the blazing sun, which is okay because eventually we're gonna make our way down to the river and go for a nice, refreshing soak. But before I go down there, I just need to spend a little more time looking at this dang bridge. You know, just so you understand what I'm talking about here. It does say weight limit 3 tons, height is 11 feet, maximum speed 15 miles per hour, but golly, I don't know much about bridge building, but I mean, yikes, look at that. You can see right through the bottom there. And these steel trusses, or I don't know if you call those trusses, those I-beams, those are the only things holding this bridge up on these cables, these huge, massive braided steel cables. I guess you call this a suspension bridge. And, well, golly, I was definitely in suspense driving across it. All joking aside, if you know anything about bridges or bridge building, well, you might appreciate the engineering and the craftsmanship that went in to building this bridge way back in 1930, almost 100 years ago. That's right, I'm shooting this video in the year 2024, so 6 years from now will be the 100th anniversary of this bridge. I don't even want to touch it because I'm afraid I'll knock it down and I'll be trapped on the other side. Oh my gosh. Well, technically I think there is a road, a very long, windy road that leads through the hills there, and I could probably get back out on US 50 maybe in about 3 weeks, but I'd really rather not have to do that. I'd rather this bridge stay standing for just a few hours more, just long enough for me to hike down to this beautiful river, find a private nook where I can take a skinny dip and drink a ranch water. Is that too much to ask? I'll be on my way. All I want is a couple blissful hours here on the beautiful American River. That's right, this is the North Fork of the American River, which I think is one of the rivers that you would have seen prospectors panning for gold on way back in 1849. And realistically, probably still to this day, I know there's plenty of folks who still prospect for gold, still pan for gold. And as a matter of fact, after that really big winter we had a couple years ago, I think it was 2022, when the Sierras got that extra huge coat of snow. Well, I guess when the snow started melting, they called it the Big Melt. And it was such a runoff that it washed up a bunch of new gold, or old gold, that the gold miners back in the 1800s hadn't discovered. And so there were a lot of people coming up here panning and prospecting, I think about a year ago, trying to find this stuff that got washed up by the Big Melt. How about that? Okay, well, it looks like there's a real big group of people posted up right here, but oh my God, what a great swimming hole they have. That's like the ideal place to plop my floaty. Unfortunately, I really don't want to be hanging out with some random family, and they probably don't want me hanging out with them, so I'm gonna have to try and find a private nook. And it looks like there's quite a few people all along the river on this side of the bridge, but if I go back over here, I think I can hike down on the other side of the river from where that family is, over there, and I should be able to walk along that bank of the river and find a nice cool spot and get a badass view of this bridge from below. Look at that, there goes another forerunner across this bridge. Golly. I mean, it's just a matter of time before this thing does collapse. And in fact, they are planning, well, I guess they were planning to tear this down and build a new bridge, but people complained because it's such a cool historic bridge, and then the whole story of Yankee Jim, the fake miner, that I guess the local Preservation Society decided they are going to keep this bridge. They're just going to build a new bridge a little bit farther up the canyon because this is a safety concern. Okay, there was a big fire up here a couple summers ago. This is an area that's prone to wildfire, and the emergency vehicles, you know, the fire trucks and the ambulances, couldn't get across this bridge. Think about it. Fire trucks weigh more than 3 tons. So how are they supposed to get over there and fight the fire? So that's why they decided to build a new bridge somewhere down the river there, so they'll preserve the history of this, and presumably people will still be able to take their chances driving back and forth across it But then there's also going to be a fancy, new, modern bridge that can withstand the weight of fire trucks just a little bit farther down that way. So to me, that's pretty much a win-win. Okay, before we go down to the river, I am supposed to pay, I think, $10 to use this area, and I don't know. Okay, that's just a garbage can, and that's just a porta potty. Oh, here, envelopes. Well, there are no envelopes. So how am I supposed to pay? I mean, according to what I read online, you really do have to pay the $10. Otherwise, they'll come issue you a $71 ticket. But I'm not just going to put $10 in this box that's not even locked. Some other yahoo will just steal it and use it to buy beer. And I mean, I would guess there's at least 10 other cars here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side of the bridge. I think there was one other truck parked somewhere over here. So there was like 5 over here, and there's probably 10 over there. So something like 15 people can park up here, which 15 times $10 a piece is $150. Hey, the state of California, or the county, or whoever maintains this, is missing out on money. They need to fix that Iron Ranger, but they can fix it after I'm gone. Okay, anyway, let's go down this very steep trail to the beautiful, cool, inviting waters of the American River. Okay, wow, we made it to the bottom of the canyon. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to walk a little bit farther to get away from everybody down here. Remember, there were 15 cars up top. But I wanted to stop and get a shot of the bridge from down here. Look at that. That's the thing we drove across and hiked across. And that's the thing I hope is still standing when it's time to leave. Because I sure don't want to spend the night in a canyon where it's 111 degrees. Oh my God, it's so hot. I gotta get in the water. Okay, wow. This looks like it might be the perfect private little nook to bust out my floaty and celebrate National Magic Bikini Day. So much better. Okay, you may have noticed I took off my regular bikini and now I'm wearing my magic bikini. If you haven't been following my channel for a while and you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about with this magic bikini, well, let me put it to you this way. I was always getting in trouble on Facebook for posting pictures that showed a little too much skin. And even if I was very careful not to show my nipples or my hoo-ha, well, that didn't seem to matter. If you show too much skin at all, Facebook just has a problem with it, man. They're a real buzzkill. So, consequently, I found myself in Facebook jail many, many times over the years. And if you know anything about Facebook jail, well, you know it's right up there with San Quentin, Alcatraz, Angola, all the worst prisons in the world. Woo-wee! There ain't no fun to be had. Unlike here, on the beautiful American River, just beneath the Yankee Jim bridge. Actually, we can't see the bridge from here, and that's because I kind of had to tuck myself into a nook so that I didn't offend that family over there with my magic bikini. Okay, well, what's so great about this magic bikini if I still have to worry about offending people? The thing is, I was always getting thrown in Facebook jail, so I figured I needed some way to share photos that wouldn't get me in trouble. And so I told this story in a video a couple years ago. One time I was in Marrakesh wandering through the flea market, and you can go back and watch that video to hear the full story, but TLDR, an old gypsy woman sold me this magic bikini that's invisible to those who are pure of heart and spirit. But to those who are Puritans or ashamed of nudity or basically unclean in any way, well, to them, it looks like you're wearing a bikini. And so now I don't have to worry about getting thrown in Facebook jail because the Facebook censors are definitely impure of spirit. And so they always see the bikini. But that family over there, well, I'm not really sure what the status of their spirits are. And well, who knows? They might be very pure of heart and might not want to see me floating around naked talking to my phone. Whoa! I think the reason nobody's down here is the current is pretty strong and it just keeps wanting to take me into these rapids. And I do not want to go into these rapids, especially not in this dollar store floaty. You know what I mean? Ah, look at that. I got caught up on a friendly rock, and this is actually a great spot because I can see Yankee Jim Bridge right there in the distance. And my car is parked just right back up there somewhere. What better spot to drink a ranch water and celebrate National Magic Bikini Day? If you happen to be watching this video in a place where you're in a position to put on your magic bikini, well, go ahead. I'll wait. Change into your magic bikini, get yourself a drink, blow up your floaty, and let's party! Wow, this really is beautiful, clear water. I guess this is snowmelt coming down from, well, upriver past the old Yankee Jim Bridge. Up that way lies Donner Pass, okay, where the Donner Party got snowed in back in 1846 and, well, had to resort to cannibalism to survive the winter. That's right, there's a ton of snow that falls on them there hills, and I guess this is all the runoff from when all that snow melts. Which is why people were out here panning for gold a couple years ago, and well, golly, they probably still are now. And if I was inclined, I could probably do a little gold panning myself. Who knows what's floating around in here? Actually, speaking of that, there are some pretty gnarly bugs floating around in here that I noticed while I was cruising around in my floaty. First of all, there's some dragonflies, and those don't really bother me, even though they're not the really pretty iridescent blue-green kind. Dragonflies ain't no thing. This other bug that I saw, well, I'm not sure what these things are. I've seen a bunch of them. This one is dried out and dead, but they almost kind of like scorpions of some sort, or some kind of little tiny miniature crawdad. I'm not exactly sure, but they look like they have little pinchers, and well, when I first got in the water, I did feel something sort of pinch my leg. Yikes, well, hopefully none of them pinch my butt. Since I am sitting in here wearing nothing but my magic bikini, which I must say is how God intended it. I mean, could there be a better way to spend a 111 degree afternoon than sitting naked in the American River under a historic bridge? I feel like that's even better than living in a van down by the river. Living in a magic bikini down by the river is more my style. But I think I'm the only one down here who's not wearing a swimsuit. And that's kind of surprising. I mean, to me, this seems like the perfect place to have a little nude beach or nude cove or something like that. I mean, where do the people up here go to hang out naked? Well, I suppose we're not that far from Lake Tahoe, so maybe they just drive all the way to the nude beach over there. Or I also heard there's some clothing optional swimming holes on the Yuba River, which isn't that far from here. And surprisingly, I've never been to the Yuba River, even though I have a real hot tip on a beautiful naked swimming hole there. So I will go check that out one of these days. But for now, I'm here at Yankee Jim Bridge, which I should note, there were signs saying you're not allowed to jump off of it, which is probably for the best because this river isn't that deep. I mean, yeah, that swimming hole where that family was posted up was relatively deep, and I did see some kids jumping off the rocks there, but to jump all the way from that bridge into this river, that sounds like a recipe for a broken neck. No, sir. My speed is more like plopping my keister into a floaty and chugging a ranch water, which I already did. It's gone. I have nothing else to drink with me, and well, I shouldn't drink more than one because I gotta drive way back down towards I-80 on that bumpy gravel road and find a place to camp tonight that's not 111 degrees. So, unfortunately, I guess I should probably gather my things and move on, but oh my gosh, I hate to do it because I have this really nice shady little cove here, and it's so pleasant, and it's gonna be so hot in my car. Maybe just one more dip. Man, I really don't want to leave, but I just looked at the time and it's already after 5 p.m. And like I said, I need to find a place to camp, so unfortunately, I guess I'd better start hiking back to my car. And incidentally, if you're wondering why you saw me wearing a bikini in that underwater footage, well, I guess you must not have a pure heart. Remember, the magic bikini can only be seen with the eyes of the unclean. And so those of you who are pure of heart and pure of spirit are probably wondering, bikini? What bikini? Okay, anyway, I guess I'm just gonna hike back to my car, put my clothes back on, and get out of here. But before I do that, let's take one more walk across the slightly terrifying Yankee Jim Bridge. Yikes. 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 Boy, I can't imagine even wanting to jump off this bridge. I can't believe there's people who are crazy enough to do that. Let's just put ourselves in their shoes for just a minute. Imagine you're some young guy or young, dumb, and full of Cheetos, and you climb up on this bridge, and there's this girl over there you're trying to impress. Let's just say it was Betty Jean Jensen, you know, the head cheerleader, captain of the debate team, the girl you've been trying to get in her panties all year long, but her daddy's a judge, and she won't have anything to do with you. Well, you feel like if you jump off this bridge, Betty Jean, did I say that's what her name was? Betty Jean will drop her panties in no time. So you screw up your courage and you walk to the edge of the Yankee Jim Bridge and you kind of work your way in between the bars here and you stare down at the water below, which really isn't that deep and is full of jaggedy rocks upon which you might bash your head open, and then you'd never get that job at the paper towel processing plant. But Betty Jean Jensen is sitting right over there sipping a wine cooler, and, well, it's now or never. And so you jump. And the next thing you know, you're waking up in a cheap motel room with Betty Jean Jensen asleep on the pillow next to you. Just kidding. The next thing you know, you wake up in a hospital room 30 years later because you've been in a coma half your life for doing something as foolhardy as jump off the Yankee Jim Bridge. You know, it's kind of like my mama always used to say, seems like nothing ever comes to no good up on Choctaw Ridge. The day Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Yankee Jim Bridge. Okay, enough out of me. Oh, yikes. I feel like I can hear this bridge creaking and groaning just from my body weight. And now I'm gonna drive my 7,000 pound car across it. Well, if you're watching this video, I guess that means I made it back across the bridge safely. And I'll see you on the next mildly terrifying adventure.